Hey, what's up? So I wanted to just show you a very quick way, or three ways actually, that you can save on credits within Clay. So the first way is to use, so this is basically there's three different tools that I think that you should pay for separately outside of Clay. And then the rest of it you can use as part of its like credit system. So the way that I use Clay specifically is to enrich. So enriching data. So this is like finding out more information around companies and getting more data points around companies through their different like enrichment tools and databases that they're connected with. But the three that I think that are really good to have already and like have separate subscriptions for, and then you integrate them. So the first one is Prospio. So this is something we're actually just integrating right now. So we're just in the process of setting it up. But Prospio, it basically has like, I think it's able to find honestly like 70 to 80% of the email addresses that you need. And obviously, if you were to use Clay credits, there's 2 credits for every email address that's found without it being validated. So I would 100% recommend that you get Prospio so that you're able to basically save 2 credits for every single email address. So if you get Prospio, then that means that you'll be able to find the majority of email addresses. And even better, if you take it a step further, is if you first do an enrichment where you actually, so this is just a sample table, but you say, for example, enrich data and you would go to, um, what is it, Apollo, right? So if you first were to do it by Apollo, now the only issue with doing it with Apollo is the API is actually relatively slow. So if you have a larger list, it's going to take a little bit of time. You can just take it into Apollo and then re-export it if you want. But if you want to do it all in one place, you can do it. Having the Apollo API, and then what you're able to do is to enrich the person or find the email address from the person. So it would basically do it as if you're doing it in Apollo. It'll pull the email address and it'll have it here in the column. So that's one way that you can save so that you don't have to use any credits, but obviously you're using Apollo credits instead. But it's quite cheap for that. It's like $49 a month just to have 10,000 credits. So you could have that within here. Then you have that one table. And then if you're not able to find email addresses from Apollo, then you move it to Prospio, and then Prospio is able to basically save you 2 credits by just using Prospio, save you 2 credits, and then that means that you're able to get a much larger list built instead of just using Apollo or just using Prospio, but using the credits, because then you're wasting 2 credits every single time. The pricing as well on Prospio is pretty good, if I remember correctly. It's like I think it's, if I remember correctly, for 20,000 leads, it's like $199 a month or something. 20,000 credits. And it's pretty good. Like the verification rate is pretty good for Prospio. So I would highly recommend getting Prospio. And then I would also highly recommend getting Apollo. And then if you enrich things within Clay through Prospio and Apollo, you're going to save yourself a lot of credits, which means that then you can use those credits for a lot of other stuff like, finding the descriptions of companies or finding all sorts of different data points and information that you might need for your outreach that are more specific. And that's what you can actually use Clay for and the credit system on Clay for. Whereas, you can just use like you could use Prospio and Apollo to save on that. And then the other way as well is just ChatGPT. So if you integrate your own API key with ChatGPT, then basically you won't have to use credits to enrich something with AI. It will cost you extra, but if you keep those extra costs, then you can basically use Clay for its kind of like most important task, so to speak. And the final one as well, actually, which is just a bonus to mention, is Debounce. So if you have an account on Debounce and you connect it to here, you won't need to use 1 credit every time you validate an email, and you'll be able to do it all from one place. So those are three or four ways that you can save credits on Clay. There's other ways as well, but I won't go into those. But those are 3 or 4 ways that you can save credits and you can basically get the most out of using Clay. So yeah, I hope that helps.